Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I just want to confirm you can hear me okay. Matthew, can you just confirm my mic is working okay?
Oh, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick things off here. Today's topic is how to mine your database for hidden opportunities. That is presented by Focus IT and Adubo. My name is Josh Pop. I am the CEO and founder of both Focus IT and Adubo. I also have on our webinar today Mike Williams, one of our onboarding specialists at Adubo, and Matthew Vaughn, one of our product specialists at Adubo. Mike will be manning the Q&A section today. So if you have any questions along the way, please post that in the question section of Zoom, and Mike will get that answered. If Mike thinks a particular question might be helpful for others to hear as well, he's going to nudge me, interrupt me, and kind of share that with the group as well. Thank you for hopping on today's call. Many of you are current and former Focus IT customers. We launched a Duvo about a year ago. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. But with that, let's get started. So most of our customers at Focus IT are like our fictional character here, Morgan. Morgan is an experienced loan officer. She's got many years of data, past borrowers, prospects, things like that, but she doesn't have a full-time marketing team. So it was really with Morgan in mind that we built today's webinar deck and built our product Duvo, which we'll step through here in just a few minutes. So what's Morgan have, right? I kind of already touched on this, but Morgan has thousands of past borrowers, prospects, realtors, really kind of stuck and orphaned in her loan origination system. And she'd love to let folks know that she exists, right? To nurture them on a day-to-day basis. Many of you are current and former Point Central customers. Maybe you've moved to another LOS. So you might even have old data lying around that you're not doing anything with. And it's how do we unlock that data and have that database work for you? You've worked hard to build those relationships through the years, and it's getting access to that data that's so challenging, right? That's the topic of today's conversation. But before we kind of jump into that, I think we all know nurturing is important, but I thought it would be interesting to really just bold and underline the why behind it, right? It's like, why do we nurture? Why do we market? Why do we want access to these past borrowers, prospects, realtors in that database? Well, it's really about repeat business. And I came across this stat. It was pretty eye-opening to me, at least, in that most mortgage brokers, small lenders who don't have a full-time marketing team have a repeat business rate of about 14%, right? That's just the borrowers, not the realtors. But those borrowers year in and year out will come back to you roughly 14% of the time. And you compare that to a large consumer direct lender, their average is 70% for that recapture rate. That 56% gap, right, is pretty mind-blowing to think about that in those terms. And the why behind it, right? One of those key reasons, what those consumer direct lenders do so well really is around staying remembered and not being forgotten, right? They have sophisticated marketing teams in place to make sure that they have the proper number of touch points week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, so that borrower does not forget them. And this stat was also pretty eye-opening to me. We've been talking a lot about this the last 6 months or so inside of the Duvo organization, which is a MBA article from a couple of years ago. 71% of past borrowers will forget you within a little over a year if you don't stay in touch with them. You know, that's a huge driver for that repeat business rate. And since the average time between transactions is a little more than 5 years, obviously you can see the gap, right? If you're not nurturing to folks, if you're not unlocking that database to work for you on a year in year out basis, they're going to forget you, right? By the time they circle back around for that next purchase, that next refi. So the other thing is how many touch points, right? How do we get that database unlocked, and how often do we need to unlock that database to stay remembered by that crowd? Well, this is kind of a marketing industry uh, assumption or given, if you will, fact the 7 touch points is really that magic number. But I also referenced here an old Forbes article from a couple years ago that kind of put some science behind this. But you need to unlock that database and talk to those borrowers, talk to those realtors a minimum of 7 times every year to have any hope that they're going to remember who performed that last loan transaction for them. So what do you want, right? I mean, how can we take advantage of the data that you've got in a manner that meets your business needs, right? I mean, there are certainly some solutions out there to do this, which we'll step through in a moment. But really, what our Focus IT customers have told us year after year after year is they want something that's hands-free, that really doesn't require a marketing team to stay remembered with their borrowers and their realtors, right? I mean, everything sounds great. Yeah, of course, I want to have seven touch points, and of course, I understand that people are going to forget me if I don't communicate with them on a day in day out basis. But the how behind it is exceedingly difficult in organizations that don't have a full-time marketing team. So in terms of the what's out there that we can do this? Well, certainly there are some great mortgage CRMs that can do this for you. You know, they do lots of wonderful things, but one of the things that they do very well is stay in touch with your borrowers and your realtors and gain access to that database, that past borrower database. The challenge is they're not really meant for loan officers to set up, and they're certainly not meant for loan officers to maintain on a day-to-day basis. If you have that full-time marketing team, those tools are wonderful tools to take advantage of the data that you've captured in your loan origination system. But if you're not a marketer or don't have a full-time team, it's challenging, right? It's challenging to use those tools that are in the market. And on the mass market side, they're certainly much easier to use, you know, the HubSpots and MailChimps of the world. But the challenge is there's no content, right? And there's certainly no data. So, you know, today's topic is how to unlock that data. Wow, it is really challenging to unlock that data if you're using a mass market solution. It's exports and imports and spreadsheets and rules and, you know, conversations with your LOS vendor. It is not simple to get that data out of your LOS and into these systems to use it. And even if you do get in there, there's no content. You have to write everything from scratch when it comes to the mortgage marketing side of things. So what do most of us do? Outlook, Gmail, iPhones, right? It is the simple, most effective way that most of us stay in communication with our borrowers and our realtors and really try and tap into that data that we've got. But the challenge is consistency and simplicity, right? That it is not simple to get access to that data. That's why we joined the call today, right? And it certainly isn't consistent. It requires manual effort to do these things, and you know that things get in the way, life gets in the way, work gets in the way. So doing it on a consistent basis is really challenging. So that's really what Aduvo was all about. Aduvo was built by the same team that originally designed Pulse at Focus IT. We created a new entity about a year ago and launched the product, but it is really has three main tenets, three main pillars that we learned from our customers that at the Focus IT side wanted to have in place. One was the content, right? So we've got, I'll step through this in just a few minutes, but we've got comprehensive, compliant content and campaigns. Two is really hands-free operation on a day-to-day basis and rapid setups. And then third are the tight integrations with all the major loan origination systems. Again, to circle back to today's topic is this is how we're going to get access to that data is we're going to have these tight integrations with your LOS, and we can extract all of the relevant borrower, realtor, loan information, pull it directly into that, so you don't have to do the heavy lifting on that part. You know, really just leverage the history that you've got with your borrowers and realtors, and pull that into a system that's purpose built for it. So one of the unique things about Aduvo really is we kind of think of it as magic. Like we don't want you using the platform on a day-to-day basis, as silly as that sounds. We don't want you logging in. We don't want you pushing buttons. We don't want you having to tweak and twist and cajole your data to get out to communicate to your borrowers and realtors. What we've built is a really hands-free system that helps you do that. And it starts with the onboarding itself. So, you know, most of the solutions in the market take weeks or months to get into place. We take 15 minutes. So, and I truly mean that. You sign up for a trial, you schedule some time with Mike or one of our onboarding specialists, and they're going to walk through all the basics, right? What's the company name? What's your NMLS number? What's your logo? Help you get all that stuff in there. We're going to help you turn on our most popular campaigns. So kind of meet your specific needs for your company, your brand, but we've got ready to use campaigns at your disposal. And that's it. The rest is up to us. So at that point, we start to talk to our LOS partners. You give us the security and the permission to talk with, it might be Encompass, might be Landing Pad, might be Point Central, whatever it is, but we're going to do all that heavy lifting. We're the ones that are going to mine that data for you. And what we do is we pull all the historical loan files into a Duvo and we sort it and organize it, right? So we know who the borrower is, we know who the co-borrower is, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, what the loan amount is, all these things. And from there, we execute the correct campaigns that we pre-built for you. So you don't have to think about it. Again, we've made all those connections and done all that heavy lifting so you can get back to work. And then on an ongoing basis, we get anything net new that comes from it, usually within a few seconds, depends on the LOS partner. But generally speaking, when you hit that save button, we're going to get the data, we're going to know what to do with it and execute those campaigns. So what's your experience like, right? It's a 15-minute call, it's picking the campaigns you want, and then we're going to do all that heavy lifting for you, and you're going to be live typically inside a day or two, certainly inside of a week. Just depends on how much data that we have to sync with your LOS partner. But the time investment on your side is really just that 15, 20-minute phone call. Then really you get back to work, right? So here's our fictional loan origination system, and we've started a new loan here with John Smith, and you filled in his email and his phone number. You've attached a buyer's agent, seller's agent to it. All you need to do is hit the save button, and we get to work, right? So you don't have to log into Duvo and tweak or otherwise massage that data for us to get to work. As soon as you hit save, in this fictional example that we've given here for John, we're going to fire off 3 different campaigns, right? So we're going to enroll him in loan status alerts so he knows what's going on throughout the loan process, as well as our happy birthday campaign and our monthly newsletter, and really probably holidays as well. But our newsletter by far is our most popular and most read among the borrowers, and 2 separate realtor campaigns. So we know who the buyer's agent is, we know who the seller's agent is. We're going to keep them up to date throughout the loan process with text messages, and we're going to enroll them in the monthly realtor newsletter with market updates. So from that simple motion of you just working in your loan origination system, we put in motion 25 touch points to your borrowers and realtors, kind of circling back to that 7 touch point stat that we mentioned at the top of the call. And we're going to keep you informed. So you don't have to log into Duvo to know what's going on. We're going to push a report. We call it the day after report to your inbox. So you know that a campaign went out, how many went out, how many got delivered, who opened it, so on and so forth. And if you do log into a Duvo, we've created a heads up display of sorts, right? So you know what is in your data, who's in your data, who has a birthday upcoming, what are the last few messages that we sent, what are the next few messages we're going to send. So, again, kind of back to that theme of unlocking the power of your data, it's going to be at your fingertips so you can see it and know what's going on and what those next nurturing steps are that we're performing on your behalf. And the result for you really is gaining valuable access to that data, driving more repeat business, driving more referrals without you having to invest the extra effort, right? That seems to be the theme that our Focus IT customers have told us for years is the most challenging side of this whole thing is the effort side of it. We've tried to remove as much of the effort as we possibly can for you. So what's under the hood? How does this all happen? First and most importantly is that content. So we write every piece of content in a Duvo. We send that to an external compliance organization. So we make sure that we're complying with state, local, federal regs. We test deliverability, right? What's it look like at a phone? What's it look like in Gmail? What's it look like in Outlook? So on and so forth. We're also going to build a list. So is this just meant for borrowers? Is it for realtors? Is it for someone who's a refi candidate? We've pre-created all of those filters so you get the right people getting the right message. And then last is the schedule, right? So if it's as an example, a 7-part email series, we're going to create a campaign that includes the list and the right timing on all 7 of those pieces. So from your perspective, you log into a Duvo, you see the campaign you want to turn on, you flip a switch and it's on, right? That is truly what the system is designed to do. Campaign categories include loan status alerts, birthdays, newsletters, for sure, 2 most popular, both the borrower newsletter and monthly newsletter, realtor newsletter, that we send out once a month with fresh content. and loan anniversaries, spread across 6 different categories with fresh content written all the time. With that, I'm going to actually hand it over to Matthew Vaughn, one of our product specialists. If you want to build your own content, we've also built some really simple tools so you can do that. And he's going to show you just one quick example of what a custom campaign would look like.
Right. Let me get my screen shared real quick. Okay, can you see my screen all right, Josh?
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm Matt. I'll be doing a quick demo of the platform here, just to show you around. I'll just be going over how to create some custom content and also just take a quick gander at navigation and how easy it would be if you just wanted to use our pre-built content. Anyways, there are only a few screens you'll need. Here on the dashboard, you see we have some metrics populating on this little test tenant here. We got birthdays and some metrics down here on the right just to kind of give you a glance of how the system's been performing. Besides that, there's a couple options up here. Marketing. This is where you'll be creating, editing, and managing any of the campaigns in the site. People and loans. This is where you can create new lists, look at contact information from your LOS import, and even create filters based off of specific data types from your loans that have been synced up. Create new here. This is just a quick start on creating new content. This is present on every page in the site, so you can always quickly get to this part. And my initials here will give you your profile, your company profile, and your user's profile. So if you need to go in here and edit something, all you have to do is go in there. Maybe you need to change a phone number or something. Just change it there, and it will replicate to all of your templates. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this section here. We'll look at quick start. This is our kind of set it and forget it style campaigns. These are all the pre-built ones that we've created. If you wanted to come in here and enable something and you just wanted to use that content, it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is click this little activate button. Yes, I want to activate, and that's it. If you just wanted to use our content, you're essentially done on the marketing side. Let's go ahead and dive into creating a template. Go ahead and go up here, click create email. Here it'll just ask you to fill out a few bits of information, just a message name for internal use, so you can quickly identify it. And then of course, a subject line that will be client facing. I already created one for the purpose of the demo, so we'll just head into my content. There we go. Let's click edit on the template I created. And you'll see this is the same information, just filled out. Actually, here, let me make sure I'm going to the right one. Yep, okay. All right, so let's say you go and create a template and you want to start adding some stuff, some content. It's pretty straightforward. It's all blocks on this left-hand side. And all you have to really do is click on something and drag it. So let's say I want to add an image. Just drag the content over to the template, release, and you'll see it created this little image container here. So all you have to do at this point is click on it, and it will give you an option of images. So you can use images we have on our site. It's up to you. You can also click upload image here to upload your own if you have one. Let's just click this one. Looks good. And you'll see on the left-hand side, it came up with some options. You can change out the image. You can add a link to another image if you'd like. You can adjust the width as you like as well. And this applies to any of the containers in the template. All you have to do is click on it, and it gives you some options on the left-hand side. Let's go ahead and add some text as well. See here, just type in webinar. And you'll notice some standard text editors up here. If you want to center it, for example, or change the font. Works like any other text editor you've probably used in the past. And similar with the image, if you actually click on the box or the container with the text in it, you'll get some additional options over here on the left-hand side. So if you wanted to change the background color to something else, maybe make it gray, you can change the font color, so on. So you're free to do whatever you like in here. Just really, there's very little restrictions on what you can do inside of the template editor. Let's go ahead and say this is good enough, and you're satisfied with the template, we'll go ahead and hit save up here at the top. Okay. So now that it's saved, let's go ahead and try creating a real world scenario of picking a specific group of people to send this message to. So I'll go up here into people and loans and click all contacts. It's going to load a list of loan files that have been synced up to this tenant. And you'll notice this little purple plus button right here. You can actually select on this and give yourself some filters to work with. So what we're going to do is we're essentially going to create a list based off of information that's been synced up from the LOS. So we'll go ahead and click search filters here. And let's just go ahead and do a note rate campaign. It's a good example. And we're going to give it a range. We're just going to do 5 and 8%, just as an example. Before I hit apply, I'll go ahead and go down here just to show. I guess it's already filtering this out. So normally this site has about 1,100 contacts in it. Right now it's showing 239 with this filter for the note rate. And you can add as many of these as you'd like. So I like to also throw in status. And let's do closed date. Closed date. And this is information that's being tracked from your LOS. So if you're on Point or Lending Pad or something like that, this is being pulled directly from those files. So let's just do a, give it a is greater than, equal to, and let's just go back a couple years. That works. May 23rd. There we go. So let's apply a second filter, and you'll see down here, it has narrowed the results even further. So we've gone from over 1,000 to 200 something down to 49 results, just as we've narrowed down this filter. And now, if you want to, you can create or use that template we just created to send a direct message just to this specific list of contacts. All right, so all you'd have to do that is just hit save. You give it a name. Let's just do 1, 5 to 8% webinar. There we go. And you'll see there's also a button up here where it says send a campaign, and this will just automatically set it up with the list that we just created. Then we'll be able to select the template that we created earlier. So we'll just give it some options. Only the ones with the asterisks here are necessary. Everything else is optional. Just to explain how this works as well, this option here lets you choose which users you'd like this message to work for. By default, it's selected to just all of them. But if you only wanted this to go out for one of your loan officers, or you only want it to go out for yourself, you can just select yourself there, or multiple, depending on how you want it to work. Okay. Here, just lets you choose who it comes from. Generally, loan officer works well if it's something specifically coming from your LOS, maybe like a loan status alert. We'll go ahead and just say contact owner for the sake of the demo. Click next. And you'll see now that the to list is using the one that we just created. So this is those 49 contacts that we narrowed down with the filter system. You can choose which type of recipients you'd like to receive the message within that list. So this list might include agents, but you only want it to go to the borrower and co-borrower. Then you just exclude and don't toggle on the agents for it to go out. Or of course, you can select as many as you'd like in here. So if you want to include everyone. Some more options here. It lets you choose if you want to add a loan officer to the recipients. Some standard CC and BCC options. Click next. And here it's going to ask you to select the template. I'm just going to go here and add filter and click my content. An easy way to find everything that you owned. Go. And here's the webinar that we created. Add to campaign. Next. There we go. So now it's just going to ask us to give it a schedule. And then here in a minute, it's going to ask us if we would like to enable it. So the scheduling system is pretty straightforward. We have some quick picks. These are for specific statuses from your LOS. So if you wanted to choose, approved date, application taken, you can have this set up for just about anything that your LOS tracks. So you can even have it set on a lock date to send a message automatically, suspended, and so on. We also have holidays. If you want to set up your own holiday message, these are pretty self-explanatory. Custom date just lets you choose a time on a calendar, and that's pretty much it. We also have the options for repeating messages here. This is handy if you want to set up a weekly or monthly, or every few months, every quarter, you want to send out a message on a repetition. You can do that. Just select repeating up here. You can select a time frame, so you can do daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Just do monthly for this. And then it just gives you a couple options, maybe the 10th day of every month, you can do it on a specific day. So if you wanted it to go out every third Wednesday, you can do that. And of course, you have the actual time it will go out on that day. So by default, everything else is set to 11, but you're free to change this to whatever time you'd like in the day or night. Go. And then down here, get some extra options for starting and ending dates. If this one only applies to repeating messages. So if you want to have it end after 3 months of working, then you can do that. There we go. Click save. Yes, I want to save. There we go. And you see it just gives you confirmation of the schedule you set. So this is the first day of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead and click next. And then it would just ask you if you want to enable the campaign and be ready to go out. So we'll just click continue editing for this. All right, so here is the campaign. You can go backwards and edit any of the information that we just set up at any point. So over here in campaign details, you notice this little purple pencil icon. You can come in here. Maybe you wanted to use a different list. Maybe you changed that list up to be a little bit different, or maybe you don't want the agents to receive this next round of messages. You can always come back here and edit that. You can also rechange the schedule whenever you like, just by expanding the message by clicking on it in the list of messages. If you have multiple, you can always expand multiple as well. And you'll see down here, this is the schedule. Again, you can always change this because with this little purple pencil icon, and it just pulls up the same screen that we were just on. Just change that for that. There we go. And now you'll see it's sending on the 5th at 11 a.m. instead of a repeating message. You can come in here. You can also edit your message from here. The template that we created earlier, you can replace it with another one. You can preview it, and you can add more messages to the same campaign if you wanted to create a drip. The metrics up here, this is if you have multiple messages in the campaign, this will track all of them together. The individual metrics per message are here when you expand it. We also have a report tab. If you want to get a quick glance at how things are working, I'm going to tell you if the content was interacted with, if it bounced for whatever reason, it'll give you information on that. And then we also have a message log, and this will tell you exactly who received it, when they received it, and how they interacted with it. So you can even add, let's say you sent it out to 1,000 people, you can come in here and select activity and give it, I only want to see the people who clicked on content within that message. This will then display a list of everyone who actually clicked on maybe a link that you had in the message, or maybe you put a button in there. This will show just those contacts specifically. Okay. And then if you ever made any changes in here, oops, too far. If you ever made any changes in here that you wanted to change, I think I accidentally just created a new campaign. But after you make any changes, it'll usually ask you to activate what you just did, or reactivate it, because it will turn it off while you make the changes. And then you just re-enable it and it's good to go. All right, that basically concludes this demonstration. If there's any questions, please use that Q&A chat. Me and Mike will look out and get them answered for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. Just a couple last things on the pricing side of things. We charge $99 per loan officer for a Duvo. We actually don't charge for non-originators. So if you've got an assistant or executive manager, all of those folks are free. If you originate files, the subscription is $99 per month. And we have 2 different ways you can pay. You can pay for everybody in one subscription if that's how your organization is structured, but we also allow for individual subscriptions. So if you're more of a independent mortgage professional inside of the organization, you can choose to have your own subscription to a Duvo. It's structured where you can do that. Just to kind of recap from the top of the call, and again, mining that database for those hidden opportunities, how a Duvo can help you do that. First and foremost is about the automation, right? So we don't really require any hands-on involvement. What Matthew showed you was if you wanted to create your own content, most of our customers are more than content simply using the content that we've got. They turn it on, they set it, they forget it, they don't log back in. On the simple cost-effective side, we are priced a bit less expensive than other solutions in the market, and our loan officer only pricing is fairly unique, but really on that rapid setup side, that's what makes us so different. In just a few minutes of your time, we do all the heavy lifting for you so you can get back to work. And then again, on the relevant content, we create everything for you, and that tight LOS integration, we unlock that database that's been sitting there idle, maybe not working as hard as it could for you. Well, what's the goal, right? Well, the goal is to really build those stronger relationships with those borrowers and realtors so you can have more leads with less effort. I mean, at the end of the day is what it's all about. We're trying to get you more at bats, more loan applications from the database that you've already got, and just unlocking the potential of those relationships that you've built to this date. So what's next? If you've seen enough here today and you'd like to start a trial, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can certainly visit our website, eduvo.com, start the trial, click the start the trial button and get fired up. We also will be sending a follow-up email tomorrow morning that has a start a trial link. So you'd be on the lookout for that in your inbox. If you'd like to take a little deeper dive with Mike or one of our other onboarding specialists, you can also click the link that says book your consultation in that email, and you'll get some one-on-one time where they can answer additional questions you've got or work through your specific scenarios if you've got something unique to your organization. You can also do the same by clicking on the book a demo link on our website. It'll get to that same team. And that is it for today. So we're going to hang out for a bit and answer questions. So if you've got questions, please post them in the Q&A. Again, if Mike thinks there's something in there that might be worth sharing for others to hear, he'll kind of call that out here. But with that, that is the end of the webinar. So feel free to stick around and get your questions asked, and we'll get those answered. We'll also be posting this to our YouTube channel, and a link to that will be in the follow-up emails as well. So hope everybody has a wonderful day. I sure appreciate the opportunity to show you Eduvo and to show you how we can help you unlock some of that power of those past database connections that you built. Thank you, everybody.